It is no secret, if you've been paying attention, that is, and that if you have a spirit and a soul left to lose, that men are being programmed to be the most unsophisticated and degenerately civilized men that has ever walked the earth. Meanwhile, the women are being taught that giving themselves away and diminishing their value and their own degeneracy and promiscuity is empowering. Now, obviously, why my question is that why anyone would want to tie the knot with any of these kinds of individuals is completely out of left field for me. I have no need, or I have no reason to see why anyone would want to marry any of these modern males or females. And I'm speaking specifically about the modern males and the modern females. I'm not speaking about the traditional males or the traditional females. Now, the traditional woman can be best defined in my book as the 3 Fs, which is the feminine, fit, and friendly. However, it is also the case that part of the friendliness is cooperation. It's a sense of agreeableness as well. And then being fit because she wants to be fit, not because she has to, right? I would rather have a woman that is fit because she actually likes being in the gym or she likes being active than because she feels like she has to do it. And then also with just the feminine part, I think women with longer hair. It does say in the Bible that a woman with long hair is more of an honor for her. And I think the reason for that is because not only does it represent youthfulness, it also represents fertility as well. And then for men, I think what the biggest problem that I've noticed with men in the modern society, the modern male, is their addiction to corn. And I will not say the actual word because of the algorithms, but the addiction to corn is there, men, modern men specifically, because you have nothing to live for. I don't know if anybody's told you that, but that's the truth. You have absolutely nothing to live for, and that's why you're addicted to watching other people do it. What the hell? You know, the first time when I really started watching corn was I was very young, and I was exposed to it very young. And it was not until almost 2 years ago when I finally stopped. And it was September of 2021 was when I finally stopped. And I never really watched it too much, but I always did like the feeling of having something available to me at all times, even if I couldn't get any time else. And I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to lie to you guys about that. But when I did stop, and I had just turned 25 for a couple months, I suppose, and I had begun to realize just how silly it was. Like, here I am looking at a screen and watching other people like go at it. This is weird. This is weird. This is kind of weird. And I just remember thinking like, okay, screw that. I'm just done with it. And I just completely stopped after that moment. But it took a lot of time, and I would say a few months, up until I started my whole semen retention journey last May, which was about a year and 2 months ago now, just over. And I began to see a noticeable difference in how I viewed the world. how desensitized I really became to just the provocativeness of women in general, and the provocativeness of just the over sexualization of our society. And it's only gotten worse in the last year that I can see. And I can only imagine, like before the pandemic, everything seems like it was just a different world. But I've come to the conclusion that leaving the modern woman is going to be more productive for you than entertaining or talking to them to begin with. And sure, you might meet one or two women out there that have the potential to listen to you, that are cooperative, that can be taught something, but that is only going to be the case if you have something to give and you have something of value to offer. If you have nothing of value to offer, it's going to be very challenging for any woman to want to follow your lead. So until that time comes, I would recommend you all just leave the women. Not only will you save money, not only will you save time, and you'll start investing more in yourself, because ultimately, the more that you invest in yourself, you're going to also increase your value of how the world sees you through time. About a year ago, after I first made my first YouTube video, and I didn't make another one for a couple months, and so it's been about a year now since my second or third video, and I'm at nearly 5,000 subscribers. Now, what does that tell me? It means that, like, because I'm not necessarily a numbers person. I don't really necessarily care about the number. But what I do care about is the fact that there's a specific amount of people that are finding a message that I'm speaking useful. And though the algorithms have shadow banned me in some different forms of and different ways, it is the case that people are still able to connect with my message, and people are still resonating with my message. And of course, I'm being more and more careful, the larger my audience goes, about how I phrase certain things, because I'm starting to realize that the responsibility that comes with the platform is great, and to not expect any kind of pushback down the line will be almost unmanly, I would say. And I would go so far to suggest that my goal and my mission, though it can seem to be, I wouldn't necessarily say anti-hero, and I wouldn't necessarily say superhero, but the message itself is of a archetypal magnitude, in which my hope is to submerge my words into your subconscious mind so that you may learn how to free yourself. And I've also come to the conclusion that traditional values is perhaps the only way to save and to salvage our society. The reason for this is because traditional values, specifically in relationships, are going to be the key to unlocking the potential of the next generation. If we cannot unlock the potential of the next generation, if we're stuck with our ancestors who have fought saber-toothed tigers and all different kinds of wild animals and jaguars and lions and tigers, whatever they fought, and all that they fought for, we're going to give up for a screen to watch other people do it? Is that how our legacy dies? Is that how our humanity dies? Everything they fought for. They had no air conditioning. They had no running water. They had no guarantee of food or supermarkets. They had no guarantee of toilets or anything like that. They had no guarantee of silverware or any kind of place to cook or pots or pans. They had nothing. They built everything for us, and we're going to give it up because we can't stop jerking off? What the hell is wrong with our society? And so over the past 2 years, when I really stopped and I really started to focus more on developing myself all the way, because I did have my spiritual awakening nearly 5 years ago now. And I wasn't like a frequent watcher, I would say, at least as much as some other people I've heard and spoke to about it. And it's so crazy to me to hear about the stories that men have with women and the tolerance and the things that they will put up with. And the fact that these women also think that, playing hard to get, playing any kind of mind games is going to get them the guy that they really want is the way to go is just beyond me. Like, why play games? Why confuse yourself? Why confuse the person that you're actually wanting to spend a life with? Like, what is going on with us? What is it going to take for us to wake up and realize that these non-traditional values are not working? They're not working. And it's weird. It's freaking weird. It's weird to go to the coffee shop and see a group of young, like junior high school kids with their mom, and they're dressed like frickin' 304s. They're dressed as if they're going to perform in Vegas tonight. That's not right. That's not good for our society. And the mom looks so proud because her children are just doing what they want to do. Why do you want your children to act like prostitutes and dress like prostitutes? You should absolutely be ashamed of yourself. And all of the men that are tricking for these women, and by that I mean simping and also paying for them and giving them lavish gifts for no reason. Not actually making stuff happen, just trying to buy their way in or trying to sneak their way in to the relationship with this woman. You are jokes. You all are jokes of men. And I will say that the confidence that you will gain from actually going to the gym, by actually putting in an effort in your life, by actually putting in an effort to your purpose, or hell, to even find your purpose, to really seek God and to connect with God, is going to be more impactful and profound and meaningful to you than any time you could bust a nut watching other people do it on a screen. It's just, I'm just getting so tired of and frustrated with the degeneracy of our world. Commitment is cool. Giving a crap is cool. Caring is cool. It's so wild to me that this is the counterculture. The counterculture is giving a shit about your life. The counterculture is having morals. The counterculture is not hooking up with anybody just to hook up with them. The counterculture is working on yourself diligently and being a high performer in the society that provides some kind of fruit for others to have in some kind of form of insight or some kind of wisdom or some kind of due diligence in their life. This is the counterculture, right? Like this is what we have to fight back for, and this is what we have to fight for. I don't want to have to fight if I don't need to. I don't go looking for trouble. But you better believe that if somebody is trying to use me as a pawn of their degenerate scheme, I will say no. And why do you want me to say yes to your program? It's not even your program. It's the Matrix program. And I'm not on board with the degeneracy. I'm not saying that you can't have fun. I'm not saying that you should only think about work. I'm not saying that you can't have a family. I'm not saying that you shouldn't look for good times in your life and appreciate the good moments. But by golly, if you're not where you want to be, what are you doing? And do you really think those 5 seconds of pleasure is when you climax is going to be worth your future? Because what you're doing is you're giving your energy back to the Matrix. And you're becoming more and more of a disempowered individual in which our ancestors would roll over in their graves to see. So, with that being said, I hope this message was motivational in one way, shape, or form for you all, whoever's listening, males or females, to understand that this is not about hating anybody. This is about trying to make people better and to help them realize their true potential and help them remember who they really are. Peace be with you. Till next time.